Jason Aaron, Aaron Kuder, Carlos Pacheco, Rafael Fonteras, Ed McGuinness, Javier Garron, Christopher Rocchio, and Steve McNiven come together to reveal the huge new storylines coming to the Avengers and the Marvel Universe in 2022. Jason Aaron, along with a bevy of Marvel's most talented writers and artists, used the landmark 750th issue of the Avengers to tell a huge story setup for the next year of the comic, tying up the World War She-Hulk storyline in a brisk yet very satisfying way and immediately moving on to what's next, reverting She-Hulk back to her smaller, still chiseled self for the upcoming solo series she finds herself in, as well as sending her away from the Avengers so we can get the lineup shaked up and new Avengers joining the team, characters like Ant-Man and Echo, while also touching base on a few plot points we haven't seen in a very long time, like the Howard Stark Mephisto storyline, which is continuing Aaron's whole Council of Red plot, which was teased at the end of Heroes Reborn, and reinventing Howard as a big bad heavy for Mephisto, which is quite an interesting way to take the character, especially given Tony's own run-in with Mephisto and the demons he's had to fight himself. The biggest reveal, however, was the new Masters of Evil, all of which come from the multiverse and are led by a multiversal Doctor Doom who has the power of the Sorcerer Supreme, all of which are intent on killing their way through the Avengers 1 million teams and stopping the Age of Heroes before it can even really begin. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what event this leads into for Aaron, since I have to imagine it has connections to the upcoming Kang-orientated series like Timeless and all of the stuff that Jed MacKay and his teams are doing for the big events that are coming up very soon. Aaron Kuder, Carlos Pacheco, Rafael Fonteras, Ed McGuinness, Javier Garron, and Steve McNiven all bring their top-tier skills to the landmark issue, covering the issue in colourful, stylized action, set pieces, and character interactions, all which give the book this massive in scale, cinematic feel which it rightly deserves. The Avengers issue 50 closed out the World War She-Hulk storyline in a satisfying way that blew open the next year of storytelling within the Avengers books and the big Marvel events, teasing out some really great looking plots as well as a few big surprises sprinkled throughout for good measure. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. The Avengers issue 50 find a couple woken in their bed by a gun-wielding man, who says seeing is the only thing he's been good at, and he's really good at it. He blows up the man's phone when he tries to call the police, ranting about how he noticed things that other people don't really see, talking about his troubled childhood. He knows where the couple's lives were headed and knows they were headed towards destruction, so he wants to get that on with. The being is revealed to be the Orb, who knows he is going to need the couple to kill each other while he watches before he leaves. In some other time and some other place, the jungle hero known as Kazar battles Kid Thanos and his robots, intending on stopping the villain from murdering the Earth in its infancy. Kazar knows that T'Challa told him that this would just be a simple mission as he dodges Kid Thanos' blasts, remembering that this was a reconnaissance mission in order to chart the unknown history of Earth's greatest legacy powers. But now it needs to make sure he doesn't accidentally alter human history, but of course things got a little crazy. Kid Thanos knows that he will correct the mistake the Celestials made by seeding the Earth, as the Avengers 1 million BC team arrive to back up Kazar, reassuring him that they are friends, as in the present, the Russian gamma bomb goes off in Atlantis as Ghost Rider speeds away from the explosion, having picked up the badly wounded Gorilla Man before making his escape, telling the team that he needs to get him some help as Red Widow is thrown into the car by the explosion. She-Hulk, meanwhile, has absorbed all of the gamma bomb's radiation, saving the 12,000 Atlanteans that would have died. Later on at the offline Avengers Mountain, the Avengers want to get Jennifer into the med bay and some help, but thanks to their 68 megatons of gamma radiation she absorbed, she is now souped up. They know that she shouldn't have done this, and this mission was a suicide mission, and they need to siphon off the excess radiation, something Iron Man reminds them they can't do thanks to the mountain being offline. Jennifer, meanwhile, is stuck in her own mind, taken back to the day the Celestials fell from Earth, heralding the coming of the final host. She knows this was the moment she changed into the monster She-Hulk, and the coming of the Celestials is why Hulk took over, knowing that she knew better than her. Jennifer hulks out, thanking herself for what she did, as in the real world, Jennifer flies into a rage, knocking the Avengers back before escaping deeper into the mountain base, unleashing the pent-up power within her which rocks the entire Arctic Circle. Sometime later in the Supreme Court of the Russian Federation, Dmitry Bukharin takes the stand, knowing that he is the living display of the price of war, not blaming She-Hulk for what she did to him, but he blames Red Widow, since she forced the Winter Guard and him into being kidnappers and accessories to attempted mass murder. As they became heroes again to make their people feel pride again, and it's Widow who needs to be brought to justice if she ever shows her face again. The Avengers regroup and go after Jennifer, finding that she has burned out the infection on the mountain that the Winter Guard left, and in turn burned off the radiation, meaning that she has been returned back to the normal She-Hulk everyone knows and loves. Later on, Jennifer defends herself in the Russian court, knowing this entire trial has been frivolous, wasting her time, and that's expensive time. She would like a formal apology from the entire Russian legal system, but she will also settle for the dismissal of this criminal charge. Back in the past, the Avengers 1 Million team capture Kid Thanos, who continues ranting about euthanizing the world. The Sorcerer Supreme opens up a portal through time, casting the villain back to where he came from. The Avengers think the future must be a hellish place overrun by broken men thanks to these time-traveling conquerors they always fight. Odin knows it's all downhill from here as Phoenix meets with Kaiser, apologizing for Odin's impatience, hoping the hero will agree that this era in time is well protected, wishing him luck in the same for his own time. Kazar's time knife takes him back to the present as Odin meets with Phoenix, knowing she pities the beasts of Midgard. Phoenix knows that they are fearful and rageful and self-destructive, knowing that she was like them before the fire of heaven found her. She finds it funny she almost feels jealous of them, knowing there is a beauty to a simple life, something your father and her will never have. Odin kisses her, knowing that there are many more eons of that to happen. Mephisto meanwhile tells the watching Doctor Doom that he is smarter than the other villains who have arrived in this area with such bluster and fanfare. Doom knows that the others the Snake speaks of weren't him. Snake knows that some of them actually were him, but all of them had the same motivation, knowing Doom comes from a world infested with all manner of protectors who interfere with their genius plans, so Doom thought coming there would free him up to do his work to castrate the Age of Heroes before it even started. Doom lets on that he knows the Snake is Mephisto, as the Snake says that he too tried to drive apart the Avengers before they could band together, but there is something about the planet that breeds cosmic irritants and no force can stand against them, not even Doom. Doom knows that he is no ordinary Doom, since he is Doom Supreme, master of the darkest arts. Mephisto has an offer for Doom, wondering if he would like a team of his own. Kazar meanwhile bounces through time, seeing heroes long forgotten and ones never even known about to begin with, unable to help but marvel at the age of heroes 1,000,000 years old and counting. Suddenly the hero is attacked by time-seeking missiles which drag him to a certain point in time, learning they were designed to bring him back to someone as he is confronted by an armored being who knows that he has been prowling through history's dark secrets they have noticed. The Avengers meanwhile hold a meeting with Tony, wondering how with all of their resources and support and heroes that they are still getting weaker, and it's happening at the worst possible time. T'Challa knows that Jen has requested time off to deal with her latest changes, and Blade is the new sheriff of Vampire Nation. Cap asks what happened with Thor, and Tony knows that last he saw he was backing up Jennifer against the Russian gods in Atlantis. T'Challa knows that Perrin and Chernobog are in intensive care in Wakanda along with Gorilla Man, who Tony also wants to put back in hospital once he gets out thanks to backstabbing him. They wonder what is happening with Thor lately, and Tony knows it's family problems and wants to talk to him about it. Carol knows that between Tony's cosmic journey to find Korvac, Cap's stint in jail, and the Empire of Intergalactic Wakanda, they have all been stretched very thin, so it's time to bring in some new recruits. T'Challa has prepared for this, and they have options, and before Cap can voice his disapproval, Tony reminds him that Echo has proved herself, and they have bigger things to be afraid of than the Phoenix Force. Carol thinks he's talking about the Starbrand child, but Tony was actually talking about Mephisto. T'Challa tells him that Kazar and his Wakandan agents are on a special mission through time, wanting to prove his theories about the importance of Earth's oldest legacy powers. He tells Tony that they are traveling through time thanks to the celestial technology they have, as the team throw around contenders for the team. Robbie wants to bring up his own business to the table, telling the team that he hasn't been sleeping great thanks to the spirit. The team tell him to seek out one of their counselors, but Robbie knows that he just needs to talk to them for a minute since they need to talk about what happens to him when he dies. He knows that he doesn't have the right to ask anyone on the team for anything more than he has already asked, but after what has happened to Jennifer and the dreams he's been having, he wants to know if the Avengers will take care of his little brother Gabe if anything were to happen to him. T'Challa T'Challa and the rest of the team know the man has his word, and the rest of the team agree since Robbie's brother is their brother as well, now and forever. Robbie thanks them, knowing that he's going to go catch fire for a little bit to burn away the tears, telling them to go back to arguing over new team members. In Atlantis, Namor meets with Jennifer, telling her the people have abandoned the city and their king, the king who failed them in every way. Jennifer knows him letting them leave was the first right thing he has done in ages, knowing that she wasn't asked there to tell him he's been a terrible king. Namor tells her that he's been asking himself why would the Avengers and She-Hulk save them after everything he has done against them. Jennifer hopes that he has an answer, and Namor does, bowing before Jennifer as he thanks her for being what he failed to be, a warrior with honor, and he will do anything he can to repay the debt to her. Knowing the Avengers need new recruits, Jennifer looks to cash in on that debt, as elsewhere, Red Widow plots her revenge against the American heroes, telling a being she has captured that the American masters lied to him about everything. She says that she isn't his enemy and he will be reborn in this land, wanting to know who he is. The being says he's been reborn countless times and doesn't know anymore. Suddenly there is an explosion as the Squadron Supreme of America arrive to arrest the villain. Dr. Spectrum traps Red Widow in one of his power prism constructs, but before he can take her into custody, Power Princess kills Spectrum, knowing the prism belongs to someone who understands what power truly means, someone like her. Blur wants to kill Widow desperately, but Power Princess tells him to calm down since they aren't puppets for the government or Mephisto anymore. Widow reminds them that the being she captured came to her looking for freedom, as Power Princess finds the restrained Hyperion, happy for Widow to continue their work in freeing him from his American master's grip. Jane Foster meanwhile readies for another autopsy. Told by Rudy, the paramedics found this guy dead in front of the old Avengers mansion, knowing that he would need her help with it. Jane is shocked to find that the supposed dead guy is a Deathlock, who awakens and says that he is an agent of Avenger Prime, having come from the multiverse to warn of the Infinity Requiem. Jane turns into Valkyrie as Deathlock reveals she isn't an Avenger just yet, but she will be. At a Wakandan nature preserve, Gorilla Man recovers from his wounds, talking about how She-Hulk came and saw him, wanting to thank him for helping save Atlantis, but Gorilla Man knows he doesn't deserve it since he didn't do much. On top of that, he has been sober since before the attack, which is a surprise to him since before that, he has never been sober since before the Eisenhower administration. Luckily, that has given him some much needed perspective about his life and those around him, and he has decided that he wants to live. He asks the still comatose Ursa Major if he wants to join him in living again, hoping his friend will get better soon. Somewhere in time, Kazar continues to battle the armored individual, who says that he won't kill the hero since that causes chronal shrapnel and he'll draw the attention of the Deathlocks. He beats the hero down though, knowing that he brought the boy there because the job of killing him will be done by someone else. Kazar snatches up his time knife, slashing the man's helmet off and revealing him to be Howard Stark, who blasts the hero away, knowing that he is an insect compared to the immortal gods like the Starks. The other Earth's Howard's origins are revealed, seeing the man knowing that while he created so much like Stark Industries and S.H.I.E.L.D. and saved the world countless times, he wanted the Stark name to be mentioned alongside the Earth's great powers, so he made a deal with Mephisto, and all it took was Howard killing his own son Tony. Howard was made immortal, and while he lived to see the future, he also was a soul slave to Mephisto, working away as Hell's Armorer to become the Iron Inquisitor, Chief Security Officer for the Council of Red. He was tasked with toppling the walls of reality and to make a hellscape of it all. Howard blasts Kazar, wishing he could stay and kill the hero as he teleports away, leaving Kazar stranded on an unknown world in an unknown time. The hero doesn't know why he was brought there, but soon finds what is on this place as he finds Galactus working away on something. With nothing but his knife, Kazar heads into battle against Galactus, as in 1 million BC, Doom chooses his own team to kill the Avengers 1 million team, as Mephisto asks if they have agreed to their terms, hoping that since he gave the power to Doom to reshape history on Earth and all of the Earths, he allows the Council of Red one request, that he leave Earth 616 till last, since that will be his. Doom reluctantly agrees, wanting to begin immediately. On Earth 818, a version of the Avengers 1 million team are decimated, leaving only Odin left alive. He throws Mjolnir at Doom, who redirects its power back into the Allfather, burning him with blue fire as Kid Thanos blows Odin apart. The Ghost Rider and Black Panther are also killed by Doom's own Masters of Evil, who want to move on to another Earth now already. Robbie Meemaw meets with T'Challa, telling him of the hellfire migraines he's been getting, seeing various cavemen Ghost Rider dying over and over. T'Challa wonders if he sees what's killing them, but he can't, since once he is killed, the dreams awaken him, but he has one final thought in his mind, which sets him ablaze. Namor suddenly arrives at the Avengers Mountain, telling Panther that he comes in peace, wanting to see Cap or Thor or Iron Man, wanting to speak with them since he doesn't have such a complicated history with them. He tells T'Challa that he is there to make amends after She-Hulk visited him. Namor reveals that he too has a Deathlock, wanting to hand him over to the Avengers as a gesture of goodwill. The Deathlock soon alerts them to an Omni-Avenger being present, as Robbie catches on fire again, exploding with multiversal vengeance, as the Deathlock knows what is happening. The Hellcharger and the Deathlock disappear along with Robbie as Valkyrie arrives with the Deathlock she found, who scans the area, finding no Omni-Avengers in the area. Robbie was taken to Earth 818, where the Deathlock says that the barren wasteland they're in should have been Midtown Manhattan, and it's here where the entire Age of Heroes has been murdered by Doom Supreme and the multiversal Masters of Evil, something the Deathlocks have been trying to warn Earth 616 about, which is a Nexus world of vital importance. Soon some flying soldiers arrive, intending on arresting the heroes in the name of the Waste Lord. Deathlock tells Robbie that they are the War Machines, soldiers of the Black Skull, wanting to escape them, but Robbie refuses, grabbing his chainsaw from the backseat and calling forth the spirit of vengeance as he attacks the War Machine armors. The Masters of Evil meanwhile arrive on Earth 616 since the Deathlocks have arrived at the Nexus and they need to be hunted down. Killmonger refuses to take orders from Doom since he was fine killing Avengers but not this. The Orb suddenly shows up in his boat, telling them that he is a big fan, having been watching them from afar. He tells them he isn't planning on stopping them or telling them what's to come, but he is there to do his sacred job and watch. Doom knows that he's not the Watcher, and the Orb reveals that he stole one of the Watcher's eyes when the being died, carrying on his duties for the cosmic good. He knows that if he is there, they can bet that something epic is going to happen, especially with the powerhouse of a team Doom has assembled. Orb simply wanted to see who they would kill next, so Doom kills the being, blowing a hole right through him, as Orb knows that he should have seen that coming. Doom takes the eye, crushing it since there is nothing the Watcher can show him that he doesn't already know. He knows that he has never been one to simply watch as they head for the Avengers Mountain. Kazar meanwhile has survived in the strange world he was left on, knowing that he has no way to warn the Avengers of the Iron Inquisitor or the importance of the Phoenix and Starbrand, or to the truth of Thor's birth. He knows that he has made a new friend though as he launches himself off the ground, flying into the air and into space as he tells someone that this world is rotten and moldy and they will find him another one. The voice says that he needs to be quick, otherwise he'll take the power cosmic back. Kazar gets to work as Galactus's herald, searching for a new world for his master to feed on, knowing that he will track his enemies across the starlight jungle of time and space, and they will both feed since the Avengers are forever. In 5th century Britain, a young boy rushes through a forest, coming upon a stone marker as he pulls his final arrow from his quiver, pointing it at the Brood alien pursuing him. The arrow barely scratches the Brood's skin as he pulls out his knife, ready to fight the being. Luckily, Thor arrives, saving the boy in the nick of time, telling him that the monsters make for poor sport and the Queen would have sent an army had she known he was there. The boy asks what they are, so Thor tells him that they are the Brood and they come from space, saying that the beasts know better than to come to Midgard, pointing out that they are just young and that the Queen has made her nest already. The boy can't believe that they aren't demons and actually come from off-world. Thor quiets him as more come, and to make it fair, Thor drops his hammer on the ground, attacking the oncoming horde with only his fists. The boy can only watch on in awe, still not believing that Odin, Loki, Thor, and many other Norse gods are real. He knows that there is only one true god, but then maybe they are wrong and maybe one god made the others. A Brood soon finds him, attacking him, but the boy stabs it with his little knife. He tries to go for Mjolnir, failing to lift the weapon as the Brood tackles him. Thor calls forth the hammer, unleashing its lightning and killing the monsters off since he finds them boring. The boy thought that Thor was just a story, but the hero says that there are many stories about him, asking if he was okay. Thor reveals that the Horde is a hunting party and they would have poisoned the boy and taken him to their nest and turned him into one of them. Thor goes to leave to seek out the queen, but the boy stops him, knowing that the marker nearby is for Thor, asking him why the hammer is so heavy. Thor says that Mjolnir is not heavy since only the hammer can be wielded by him and his hand. The boy thinks he is unworthy, but Thor says that the hammer has an enchantment on it, making it only his. The boy asks how he can become worthy of the hammer, but Thor knows he is a child of Midgard, asking his name. The boy reveals his name is Arthur, as Thor tells him that Mjolnir isn't his burden, and he'll find his own burden, since everyone is worthy of something.